Ladies and gentlemen, this interview is brought to you by www.employeeescapeplan.com. And if you want to have more customers pay you more money more often, I highly recommend Employee Escape Plan. Joe is an amazing guy, Joe Nicasio. Love working with him. And if you want a guy who really has your back, who's a stand for your greatness and having your business succeed, Joe is your guy. www.employeeescapeplan.com. Now for Chris M. King. Chris M. King helps professionals and teams who feel stuck, are swamped, or engaged in self-sabotage. Small to large businesses and organizations experience improvements in performance and efficiency of up to 40%. Improvements in communication, creation of innovative solutions, and clarity with regard to plans and next steps. Chris gets them clear, focused, and moving so they can get results. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Chris, you ready to rock this?
Thanks, man. Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on, man. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to share with our audience. You know, we have this live stream as well as the podcast episode, which will be coming out a few weeks after this. So thank you so much, man. And we're going to dive right into the theme of the day, which is relationships are mirrors. And we love going deep here, man. So, Chris, how have you used relationships, or how have you noticed that relationships are a mirror for you to be your greatest possible self, to notice your blind spots, to notice you and notice how you relate to people and discover the world?
You know, that's a great question, because you're right. The relationships and the world really are a great reflective tool for us. What we say in this work is how you relate to the issue is the issue. And this is a great way to understand, how am I relating to this issue? You know, it's really funny to me as I went through my education and I got so, you know, to the point where I felt like I was advanced in this work, I realized that we actually knew this when we were about 6 years old on the playground. You know, we might call our friends some kind of, you know, name or something, make fun of them, and we would respond, you know, well, it takes one to know one. Yes, that's absolutely true. It's a principle in psychology we call projection. And we are taking that which is in us and putting it out there. And the reality is that if you didn't have it in you, you wouldn't see it out there.
Wow.
And every relationship that I have ever had, professional, personal, family, friends, whatever, every one of them teaches me about me.
Wow. What a powerful way to start off, man.
What do you say? Go deep, man.
I love that. I love it. Yes, we're definitely going deep. Thank you, Chris. So let's dive in a little bit more to what you're doing today. Tell us some more about the projects you're working on and what you're doing, man.
All right, so look at it this way. Every person on this planet is a high-performance machine. We're talking 35 Raptor. We're talking Indy cars, right?
Yep.
Is over time, most of us are tuned up like a 68 Buick or something, right? It's just not really all that efficient, maybe not effective. We're kind of dragging a little bit. Gas mileage isn't so great. What I'm doing with executive teams and professional men and women is getting them back to IndyCar performance status.
Wow, dude, I love it. I love it. So what does that take, man? How does that happen?
Oh, it's super easy. We basically have to disentangle 40 years of crap, you know.
No biggie.
Right, it's not a problem at all. But what we're talking about here is alignment, right? Most of the time, there's a great story that I heard that I don't think is true at all, but I tell it anyway because it's a great story. It's a story about how Michelangelo carved the statue of David. And, you know, the story is that people asked him, how did you create this incredible masterpiece of art out of this big chunk of marble? And the response that he gave was, I didn't create David. David was already there. I had to remove everything that wasn't him.
Right.
That's what we're doing with executive teams, with professional men and women. We are removing the stuff that is not serving them so they can operate at peak performance and efficiency. This is what we call, I call myself a CEO, a consultant in executive optimization.
Nice. I love it, man. I love it. So you're helping these teams achieve that optimal performance that they already have built within them, and just getting all the crap out of the way, all the excess baggage, limiting beliefs, shame, guilt, past programming, all that stuff. So that is awesome, man, because like people deserve to be free. They deserve to be self-expressed. They deserve to be their optimal performing machine. So thank you for the work that you do in the world, man.
No, you know what? Thank you for the acknowledgement. I got to tell you, I experience so much gratitude for being able to do this work, because the transformations that I see in organizations with individuals, there really aren't words, and I hesitate to tell people the work that we're really going to do, because number one, they don't have a framework for it, so it's hard for them to understand. So they'll come to me with like, oh, we have employee retention problems or work-life balance issues, or we want to make 20% more revenue this year. It's like, okay, that's all well and good, but that's not the goal. Result. And I can't tell you that just yet. You don't quite know what that means. So, but when they finally start to get it and they get out of their own way, man, do they hum. It's
yeah, it's seeing them light up, that experience, the energy that they tap into, the zest for life is just magnificent.
That's it. It's incredible, and it puts so much gas in their tank to achieve their goals. It's just awe-inspiring.
I love it, man. I love it. So we can hear that you clearly love seeing people shine and achieve and excel, and drawing that out of them, helping that emerge. So we want to know, our audience loves hearing the journey, some of the challenges that you had to experience, some of the pitfalls that you had to learn to either get through or avoid. Why don't you tell us something about that journey, and include our audience in that journey, and take us back to some of those moments where it was most challenging for you.
It's what I like to call puzzle pieces. It's looking for my life history and picking out these puzzle pieces that are really significant, and seeing how they fit together, and then discovering the picture it creates.
That's good.
If I go into my history, there a couple of things. Like my oldest sister, she died at the age of 11 years old, and my parents had to navigate that. My mother was such an emotional rock, She was so grounded and strong, and still loving and kind and gentle and very nurturing and all that. Father really threw himself into work because he could barely cope with the loss of his first child. And so recognizing how powerful these events impact us, and what we choose to do with them. It can completely sabotage us, or it can blow wind into our sails. I historically had been a master of self-sabotage. I was a genius at it. I could snatch defeat from the jaws of victory like that. It was just. And even my father, like, this is a lifetime journey, right? My father had said, if you spent it, like, I think I was like 8 years old. He said, if you spent half as much time and energy on doing your homework as you did on trying to get out of doing your homework, you'd have been done like a week ago. And so I was like, I see how powerful self-sabotage is. If we could flip the polarity on that, how power does it give us? If like fear has all the power in the world to stop us, what if we can shift it into something else? It powers us. And that's kind of how I came to it. It was just my own disastrous stumbling around, tearing down building a business and abandoning it, building another business and abandoning it, building a career and then flaming out and abandoning that. A marriage to a bipolar woman, a woman with bipolar disorder, and that part, a marriage quickly after that I completely destroyed. I mean, it was my own, when I finally got to the point of like, maybe I should stop destroying things. What could I do? I'm real good at destruction. What about constructive destruction?
Yeah. So what's the secret to transmuting destructive force or self-destructive, internally shame, guilt, that kind of stuff into creation? What have you found?
I can't give you the Rosetta Stone here because there's a lot of things. I tell you that there's a process that needs to be honored. And the first step is acknowledgement. We get so mired in, like, I can very easily say, oh, I self-sabotage, or I screwed this up, or whatever. I'm a terrible person. Oh, whatever. None of this serves me, right? So the thing is just acknowledgement about, okay, this is what I've done. This is where we are right now. And then it's releasing the judgment that we have against ourselves. Now, this is where this ties into relationships too. You might do something that I disagree with, or I don't like, or something, and I might engage in judgment of you for that. It's going to disconnect me from you, and it's going to make us very hard to work together. So this is true with your relationship with yourself. It's very hard to work with yourself if you're in judgment of yourself. But if you can release some of the judgment and move into compassion for whatever it is that you messed up, it's like, okay, now it starts to shift the energy.
Wow, that's powerful. So I hear first step is acknowledgement, saying, hey, this is going on, being aware of that there's a problem, or whatever, challenge, growth opportunity, and then the second is to release the judgment, to release the shame, the guilt, the kind of like the spotlight of what is wrong, and instead, what can we focus on instead of that judgment?
Well, you gotta focus on understanding, like, what's really going on here. Like, if you do something and you decide, I'm going to own my language here. If I do something and I decide that the judgment that I'm going to hold against myself is that I'm stupid. Okay, that I get it. Like, I get why I might do that. But I know I'm not stupid. So this is just a way for me to berate myself or something. And I am now out of alignment with my end result goal, right? If I tell myself that I'm stupid and I buy into that judgment, then I am not going to be able to achieve my goal of doing something that's brilliant or amazing, right. Because it's just an alignment problem, right? Those are two diametrically opposed things. I can't grow my business if my mindset and my energy is in fear and constriction, right? The business is about abundance and expansion. My energy and my thinking is in scarcity and fear. It's diametrically opposed. You can't grow from scarcity any more than you can lose weight by eating cake. It just doesn't work. So and this is where it gets really hard. In Jungian psychology, we talk about the shadow aspect, and whatever that part of us is that's judging ourselves, we have to reclaim that. Because a lot of times if we can judge ourselves and we separate ourselves, we are out of integrity and we're no longer whole. And this is where we're missing so much of what we could have that powers our mission. The second I decide that everything about me is a good thing or a gift, I have the opportunity to figure out, how is that a good thing? Do that, I can put it in service.
Yeah.
That's a that's a lot of, very long-winded, I apologize, but that's a big chunk of the process.
So I heard that once we release and stop holding on or fighting the judgment or how we shouldn't be, it shouldn't be like this, then we transmute that into, how are we grateful for this? How do we receive this as a gift? How do we recognize and integrate this part of us that is a part of us, and we're grateful for it, and there's nothing wrong with this part. How do we integrate it and choose it to be a gift so that we can move forward into some more productive energy?
That's much more succinct and well said. Good job. I'll frame it in a way that makes sense for me, and that this works really well for women, because they typically have some judgment of themselves about their physical appearance, right? 5'6" if I'm an inch, not exactly the tall guy that walks into the room, right? Now, I held this as a negative all my life. I was picked on and beat up and all this kind of stuff. And at one point I decided, and it wasn't so conscious, I think it was a defense mechanism more than anything. I said, you know what, this doesn't make me less of a man or less of a person. This actually, because I'm only 5'6" and 140 pounds soaking wet, that actually somehow is affecting my personality and kind of the way I show up in the world. And it actually makes my personality a lot bigger. If I was like 6 feet tall, like a shy, quiet kind of guy or whatever. And so being 5'6", yeah, you maybe don't notice me walk into the room, but you know what? You don't notice me walk into the room. That means you don't see me coming, and that makes me a ninja, and that's freaking cool.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So everything about, I don't care if you think you're too short or you think you're too blonde or you think you're too bald or whatever it is, that physical trait that you are judging about yourself or have to this point it's your secret weapon. David Lee Roth knew this when he was a kid, and his parents did. David Lee Roth, of course, Diamond Dave, Van Halen, one of the greatest rock bands in history. The doctors diagnosed him at the time as hyperactive. And the parent, they wanted to put him on Ritalin therapy and all this. And his parents said, no, we're not going to do that. We're just going to call it monkey hour. And so, he would have dinner and blood sugar would get up. And Dave would then start being goofy and singing and dancing and whatever. And they called it, they would tell people that came over, don't worry about David. He's just doing monkey hour.
Wow.
And I turned monkey hour into a career.
Wow. Wow. Love that.
Right?
Superpower. It's a superpower. And speaking of the headline of this was really using those tools and those talents that we have that we've been looking over. So is this like one of those kind of principles that we take something that was once a weakness and then we turn it into a strength? Like how else do we do this?
Well, it's all about reframing it, right? Again, the first thing, you got to stop judging it. You got to stop judging it as wrong or bad or whatever. Shakespeare, Hamlet, Act 2, Scene 2. For nothing is either good nor bad. Things makes it so. Things are good or bad. Things just are. If we like it, we say it's good. If we don't like it, we say it's bad. That's a choice that we can make. I can choose to like that I'm 5'6", or I can choose to hate it. The amount of energy that I spend making that choice is the same whichever way I go with it. So if I'm going to be a high performer, if I'm going to achieve my goals as a steward, a good steward of my mission, it is my responsibility to make the choice that's in alignment with that. And dumping myself and judging myself is not in alignment with being a good steward of that mission. Wow. So it goes beyond our ego. The ego wants to judge you, but your deeper, authentic soul, yourself wants you to soar. And step one is stop crapping on yourself.
Yeah. So I heard you say,
embracing yourself.
I heard you say that our purpose, our mission, if does this, how I'm looking at this, does it serve my mission? Does it serve my purpose? If not, how can I change the story around? How can I reframe it, look at it through a different lens, a new perspective to find the gift so that it accelerates me towards my purpose?
That's exactly it. And if you really are on your mission, let's bring Paulo Coelho here, on your personal legend, right? If you're really on that path, then you have a duty, right? If your mission is to have a family, kids and whatever, then it's your duty to get a job and start doing some savings. And even if you haven't met your life partner yet, if you want it, you got to start creating space. It's like, you know what? Instead of going out and partying this weekend, I'm going to study. Or instead of going and spending money on a new car, I'm going to save that and keep the Honda Civic for a while and drive it. This is called, being responsible and being a good steward of that mission. It takes discipline. It takes focus. It takes clarity. And it is it's not always easy, It's kind of like eating your veggies, being a good steward of your body, right? Like, yeah, I want the junk food, it tastes good and all that. But if my mission is to live a long, healthy life, and it's my responsibility to do my part in facilitating that.
Do you have any like hacks or shortcuts or exercises that you would recommend to really amplify us being a good steward of our talents, of our abilities? Is there anything that like we can do at an identity level, or this reframing kind of purpose that really has a step into being the well taken care of, good provider of these talents and abilities that we've been given.
Absolutely. You can hire a really good coach.
Yep. Heck yeah.
It's always a good way to do it, right?
Yep.
The two things I think that, and I get this question a lot as far as what's like something really easy and takes almost no time at all that will help me move forward.
Yeah.
First thing is meditation. Meditation is, you give me 4 minutes of your morning, I will change your life. That is a promise that I've made to many people, and every one of them has come back and said, I thought you were full of crap and we're dead on. 4 minutes. You have 4 minutes. You give me 4 minutes of meditation, it'll change your life. The other thing is a gratitude journal. And when I say journal, that's a very grandiose term for what I'm talking about. You don't have to like big journal entry. I'm talking you sit down and you write 3 things that you're grateful for at the end of every day. Your life changes like that.
Yeah. Dang. Man, what is it about these activities that make the biggest difference, do you think?
I think a big part of it is self-acknowledgement. So when we say that we're grateful for something, we're acknowledging that there's something awesome and thing that we really like. And, not to get too law of attraction stuff, but you attract what you focus on.
Yeah.
So if we're constantly focused on what we don't have, we're going to continue to not have it. If we continue to focus on things that we like and appreciate and celebrate, and let me tell you something, this does not matter how big this thing is. One of the ways I celebrate myself every day, I actually did it before we got on this call. I parallel park like a ninja. I am so good at that, and I love that about me. I don't know why, but man, I will put that car in that much space on the side of their cars. Yeah, and it seems so stupid, but I was like, damn, that was good.
Yes.
The more we focus on success, big or small, again, the size, that's just a judgment. Success, period. I win $100 in the lottery or $1 million or $1. Win is a win, baby.
Wow.
Anybody that's ever played sports will tell you that. We only won by 1 goal. We only won by 1 point. It's in the W column, baby.
Yep.
Focus on those successes, man, and we will have more of them. And that gratitude journal is a great way to do that. It's a great habit.
Wow, that's beautiful, man. And I really hear that when you take the time to focus, where your focus goes, energy flows. And if we train our mind to see these things first thing in the morning or at the end of the day, whenever it is, we create a discipline of looking for the things, of training our brain to see what we may have been missing for a long time, but has been right in front of us. Like we have this amazing oxygen that we get to breathe in all the time, but so many of us take it for granted. It's just like there's so much around us that we get to acknowledge and really breathe in and receive. Like it's almost like a receiving too, we get to receive what the universe, what God, source, creator, whatever we want to call it, has provided for us, and we get to receive and we get to keep receiving, when most people are focused on their lack of receiving, the living in lack, the living in I'm not enough consciousness.
You're absolutely right. I mean, the universe responds, right? Look at it this way. Something that's not on your radar right now. I mean, when was the last time you went to buy a car, for example?
For me, I actually bought one last year.
Okay. So, and what kind of car did you buy? What brand?
A Volkswagen Jetta.
Okay, Volkswagen Jetta. So, up until the point that you decided to buy a Volkswagen Jetta, you didn't really think about it.
I didn't care.
The second you decided, or you were even interested in a Volkswagen Jetta, did you start to see them
all over?
all over the place, man. It's everywhere. And that's exactly how it works, right? When you start looking for it, you see it, because now it's on the radar. I mean, I had a buddy of mine who actually worked in the auto industry, and he said something, I don't even know if it's true, but it might as well be, because he said 80% of all the Toyota Priuses that are sold in this country are sold in the city of Santa Monica, California, my hometown, right?
Yeah.
So, and I'm in Santa Monica right now. But when he told me that, I swear to God, every car on the road for the next 3 weeks was a Prius. It's all I could see, because it was on my radar all of a sudden. Is that true? Is that true? And man, they were everywhere. And so, you start focusing on the success, boom, success, 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 success. And the more you focus on it, the more of it you generate. It's that simple.
Wow, that's powerful. And I'm curious, is there any way that we can even more leverage this principle that, your friend said, hey, 80% of the cars, 80% of the Toyota Priuses are in Santa Monica. It was almost like he put a ninja a seed into your brain to think about this. I'm curious if there's any other way to accelerate or exponentialize the ability to see things more often. Is there a framing that we could come from? We know the exercise of gratitude, of taking that time to have the discipline of it, but I'm curious if there's anything else that we could do to even further, faster accelerate what we want coming into our experience, into our reality.
Well, the first thing is awareness, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because we stop and ask ourselves, and again, I'm going to say it again, how we relate to the issue is the issue.
Yes.
Wait, time out. How am I relating to this issue? What's the energy that I'm feeling, and what's my mindset around it? What are my thoughts? And now, what is it that I'm looking for, and is what I'm thinking right now and how I'm relating to this issue, is it in alignment? Now, this is really here's the neuroscience behind it. Okay, we have an end result that we want, whatever that is.
Right.
Those end results, and everything right now in life that you're experiencing right now is a result of actions that you have taken.
Yes.
Those actions are driven by your feelings. So being aware of what our feelings, mad, sad, glad, fear, shame, that's it. Whatever you're feeling, fall into one of those 5 boxes or a combination, right? So the results driven by the actions, which are motivated by our feelings. Our feelings are how we experience it, how we experience our thoughts. Mm-hmm. And those thoughts are given birth to by our own internal operating system, right? It's what we call belief system. That belief system was written by about the time we were 6 years old. Mm-hmm. Most people are about 90+% unconscious of what that system is. So if we can get awareness around, what am I seeing? What's the result? What are the actions? What are the feelings that drove it? What are the thoughts that gave birth to the feelings? What's the belief system that created those thoughts? We can start to realign with, what do I want to see? People go out in the world and unconsciously seek to prove the belief system they don't know is running.
Wow.
Okay? The opportunity is to disrupt the system and bring awareness to it, and then consciously seek to prove what it is we want.
So how do we do that? How do we prove it?
Well, you got to look for it. Like if the woman, is it any wonder, like now that we're getting deeper into this, is it any wonder that the woman who walks around complaining that there are no single men out there, there aren't any good guys left, is it any wonder she's perpetually single?
No.
I mean, if you don't believe in a unicorn, you're never going to see one.
Right.
Right?
Even when you do see it, it's just a horse with a horn on it.
Right. You won't believe it. Bingo. Bingo. Exactly it. When Magellan landed at Tierra del Fuego, the natives thought that these men were gods, on this earth. And they said, no, we're men like you. Like, we came in ships. And they're like, what are you talking about? And they said, look, out there in the bay, there's ships. And they said, we don't see anything. They couldn't perceive it because there's no framework for it. It wasn't until they put them in the longboats and rowed them out there and put their feet on the deck that went, oh, you're a dude. I get it. Because they had no framework for it. So the question becomes, or the opportunity is, all right, let's say the same woman. Do you want to be in a romantic partnership with somebody? Yes, I do. Okay. So in order to be in romantic partnership, the belief has to be that there are good men out there. Right. Good. Go see if you can see one. Go look for one. Is that a good one? Is that a good one? Then will you find it?
Wow. Awesome.
Believe, perceive, achieve.
Yes. Yes, I love it. So how do we use this mentality of like looking for the good and looking for what we want to find with regards to our talents and excavating that and bringing our best self, our greatest possible self to the world and the people around us?
Well, I think it's asking those questions. It's challenging, and this is what I kind of jokingly say my clients cry a lot. We're basically challenge every notion you've ever had about yourself and everyone else.
Yes.
Yes. That's all, right?
Yes.
Like, I asked a guy once, he was kind of in this twisted up place. And I saw him in a very different way than he saw himself. And I just asked him a question that at the time it just kind of comes through. So I don't like, oh, that was so great. It just, right? But I said, let me ask you a question. What if the only difference between the man you are and the man you want to be is your bullshit story that you're not him? And he went, oh, like the idea that his beliefs are choices. And again, your beliefs are choices that you have not yet taken responsibility for.
Wow.
The second you take responsibility for your beliefs, it's a choice, and you can choose whatever you want. And as a good steward of your mission, it's your responsibility to choose what's in alignment with that mission.
Freaking hey, Chris, that's
Drop the
fire. Ooh. We got Max in the audience saying, wow. I love it, dude. That's awesome. So, Chris, this is gold, man.
But do you hear how powerful that is? Yes. That's such a powerful place. Your beliefs are choices.
Wow, dude. So you said, what's the difference between the guy who you want to be and this person who you're being right now, who is like not enough, who's not capable? And it's simply recognizing that our beliefs are a choice, and once we take responsibility for that choice, we can choose a different choice because we have infinite possibility, infinite selection. Okay, I was being that person, shy, introverted. I defined myself as shy and introverted and incapable of making relations with people easily, effortlessly, effectively. Okay, I recognize that. I take responsibility for that. Now I choose for it to be easy. I choose to be naturally communicative. I choose to be energized and engaged, and even I can be an extrovert when I want to be. That's my choice. I take on that identity. I take on that personality, and I think that's one thing that really traps a lot of people is they think, oh, well, where do you get your energy from? Is it when you're by yourself or when you're out with people? It's like, where do you choose to get your energy from?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think there are natural aptitudes, and we are wired in certain ways for whatever reason. But it's not a question of like, I can't do this or I can't do that. It's a question of, okay, like the introvert that says, oh, I can't get out and network and meet people. It's really uncomfortable and whatever. It's like, okay. So instead of coming from that place of, I don't know how to do this as an introvert, let's change I don't know to, I wonder how. I wonder how an introvert would do that. Let's see.
Wow.
Oh, let's see. They don't seem to be naturally wired to do this. So what's maybe another way to do it? Because I will tell you this much right now. There's always a way. Always a way. It's never lack of money. It's never lack of time. It's never lack of ability. It's a lack of creativity. It's a lack of awareness. But there's always a way. And if you believe, choose. If you choose, there is always a way. You will start looking for it. Wow. If you believe there's no way, you won't even bother looking. And you sure as hell won't find it because it ain't going to fall in your lap. And if it did, you wouldn't recognize it anyway.
And don't give up. Be persistent as F, because so many people are like, I looked today, I didn't find it. Whatever. Maybe it's not meant to be.
Well, you're absolutely right. You cannot beat the person that refuses to quit. You can't beat them ever because it's not a football game. We don't have 60 minutes. It's not baseball. It's not like there's no expert. Like Like, I saw a funny thing. So the argument's not over until I win. All right.
Yep.
And that's actually back in my, ego-inflated narcissistic days. That's how I would win arguments. Just be willing to fight longer. I don't have to be right.
Yep. It's like there's that one Will Smith video where he says, if you and I are on a treadmill, there's two results that will happen. Either I'm going to win or I will die on that treadmill.
That's it. That's it. You can't beat somebody that won't quit.
That's right, man. That's right. So tell us more about, like, in terms of drawing out our talents, how do we recognize them? How do we know, like, what are these gifts and abilities within us that we have just waiting to be uncovered? How do we really tap into the spirit of that talent and that greatest possible self waiting within?
Well, I think there's a recognition that most people already have, right? I mean, I know there's certain things that I'm good at, and I know there's certain things that I'm good at despite my fear. Mm-hmm. Getting on stage and speaking to an audience, for example. Yes, I seem to be pretty good at that, right? It's a natural aptitude or whatever. It scares the crap out of me. Yeah. I mean, I'm just as terrified as getting on that stage as anybody. Yeah. I train myself to transmute that fear into enthusiasm. Because again, then the thing that was stopping me is now propelling me, right? Fear is a great example, because biologically your body doesn't know the difference between fear and excitement. It's like riding on a roller coaster. It's scary, but it's exciting, right? So if you can change that polarity in your head to go from fear to excitement, then the thing that stopped you now becomes a thing that thrusts you forward. But again, the first step comes from acknowledgement. Like challenge your own beliefs. Do you really have no talent for that? Do you really suck at that? I mean, do you say that because it's true, or is it true because you say it? Like, let's really call this into question. One of my beliefs that I have held to this moment is that I have no talent for drawing. And I can trace it back to an event that happened in second grade that was just really, really became like a spontaneous conditioning kind of thing. And I've held on to that belief forever. And because I hold on to that belief to this day, I don't draw very well. But what if I said to myself, maybe you can draw. Maybe it's not that you don't have any talent for it. Maybe you just never learned. That changes things.
Yeah.
It's different, because you know what? Yeah, I've never taken an art class, so how do I know? How do I know? How do I know is the question.
Wow.
I had a guy, he's a VP at Wells Fargo, and he had asked me, he had told me, he said he has these like 3 or 4 days a week where he's just crushing it, and then 1 day a week where he's staring at a blinking cursor and he can't get anything done. And so what's this costing you in productivity? And he said, so it's costing me all this time and energy, and I'm just, I'm judging myself, and it's costing me so much performance and all this stuff. And I said, how do you know? How do you know that day of sitting there doing nothing isn't the very reason that you're killing it the other 4 days a week? How do you know? And he just sat back and goes, wow. It's not like he did any analysis on this. It was the story that he told.
Yeah.
And once he changes how he relates to that, he can realign it.
Wow. That's beautiful. And then it's almost like I wonder what the tendencies are of people naturally, and is that natural tendency, like you just said, like, is there a gift? Is there wisdom? Is there, maybe we try to push ourselves too hard on those 4 days, and that 5th day is like necessary to be a rest day because the other 2 days aren't enough, or maybe we have family and kids that we're taking care of on the weekends, and like that's an optimal time for our brain to just cool down, or kind of go into like recluse kind of, or back into retraction and heal and recover. So it's like, what are the natural tendencies that we already have set up, and how can we not only create a story or shift the story, shift the perspective, shift how we relate to them in a way that serves us, And can we change the whole paradigm altogether? Can we redesign that model for a more effective way to show up? Because maybe we're able to get 5 days out of him if he shifts that story, if he, chooses the other 2 days, the weekends or whatever, to be that recharge day, and he focuses on that recharge day. He finds that the ingredient was recharge that he was getting through kind of self-sabotage, and then he can reintroduce that ingredient in a more focused, purposeful way that gives him what he needs.
Yeah, it's I was sitting at lunch with a guy who was telling me that his dad was, I think, his late 40s when he died of a heart attack. And this guy was now in his late 40s, and he just said, dude, I'm freaking out. I'm carrying like 30 extra pounds, and I got 2 young kids at home. I got a wife that I love. I'm freaking out, and like I don't want to die. And so he said, I'm going to the gym. I'm trying to make smart, healthy eating choices. And I said, well, that's great. He says, yeah, it's really hard, dude. It's really hard. And I said, so, well, let me ask you this. I said, why are you doing this? He said, because my dad had heart disease, and I don't want to get heart disease, and all that stuff. I said, okay, so what's driving this is fear. Fear. So fear is like first gear in a stick shift car, if anybody knows what those are anymore, right? It's great to get you started, but you can't get on the freeway and do 80 in first gear. It's what we call a very dissonant motivator. Okay? So once we get going, we need to shift out of first gear. We've got to shift out of fear into something more resonant. Wow. So we were able to read, just over the course of a relatively healthy lunch, we were able to change the polarity on this and shift him from doing it from fear of dying and fear of leaving kids without a dad and a widowed spouse to, man, I love being with my kids. I love playing with them and picking them up. I love being with my wife. I love spending all this time. Called me up 2 weeks later, and he's like, I don't know what you did, some kind of Jedi mind trick on me. He says, going to the gym is easy. Going to the eating healthy is easy, because what we did was we connected it neurologically to something else in his brain, right? So he's associating working out and eating right with joy and love and enthusiasm of being with his kids and being with his wife, and it makes it so much easier for him to align himself with his goal of achieving the end result of a long, happy life and doing the responsible things to make that happen as a steward of that mission.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, one of the things that comes up for me is when I'm trying to reprogram myself or my clients, I use the word because. When we use the word because, it's such a powerful connector, such a powerful catalyst to why we do the things that we do. And it sounds like he was doing this healthy eating and going to the gym because that connector was to a negative image and a negative association, that fear. And if we use a simple word like because, I go to the gym because I love my kids, because I want to be around for a long time, because I love my family, that's a really powerful connector, equator in our brain, in our neurology, to start taking new action that feels good rather than out of fear.
Right. I'll give you a ninja trick. I'm all about tricks and tools, right?
Let's go.
You got to be able to apply this stuff, right?
Yep.
So if you're you create what we call a donut in radio, right? Out of this, if you use the word because, use the word or else. And when it takes you, right? Say, oh, I'm going to the gym or else I'm going to die of a heart attack. I got to go to the gym or else I get to be with my kids. I go to the gym because I love being with my kids. Because it's so much fun to play with them. Are you doing it because, or are you doing it or else?
Or else.
Right? Ding, 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 right? Red flag.
Yes. So that's powerful, man. I love that. And that's still using fear as a motivator, right? Temporarily, and then we get to focus back on the because or the reason why, the future anticipated pleasure as well.
Yeah, well, you can't get rid of fear, right? I mean, it's just a biological thing we have. You were born with fear. It's there to keep you alive. That's its job, right? So this part of the brain. You just can't live there, though.
Right?
It's not healthy, it's that angst and stress and all this kind of stuff that comes out of it. It's not in alignment with really what we're trying to do. And it's very hard to live in that space. So sure, fear's not a bad thing. We just can't live there. Anger, not a bad thing. We just can't live there, right? Or I shouldn't say can't. I mean, it's a choice. And it's just a question of, is this in alignment? Is this aligned with the outcome that I'm trying to produce?
If you want to spread joy and love and gratitude, kindness, compassion, anger, most of the time does not fit into that equation. It might fit in there to get you up into action. Anger might come up. Rage might come up if you see someone being taken advantage of, or if you see one of those values, joy, love, compassion, kindness, being trespassed. If you see someone complete opposite end of the spectrum of those, you can use that to get into action as well.
Right. Well, and look at it this way. Anger is not bad. Fear is not bad.
Amen.
Remember, there is no good or bad. Thinking makes it so.
Yeah.
So here's where we get into our relationship with ourselves, right? This is information. I'm angry. I'm sad. Whatever I'm feeling, this is information that I can use to get to know me a little better and understand me a little better. It's not bad. Being angry, feeling your anger, that's a good thing. People bottle that stuff up like, oh, I can't be angry. No, you can't. Even Gandhi said, if you're pissed off, be pissed off. Like, that's just, the trick is to make sure it doesn't drive you. It's like, okay, I'm feeling my anger and I'm experiencing this, and I recognize that this is the goal that I want. So, is that in alignment? What behaviors are in alignment? Because again, the feelings are going to drive the actions. And is this aligned? Look at it like a door. Every door has a lock on it, has a key that unlocks it. Inside the lock, there's what they call tumblers. And the key aligns those tumblers in a very specific way. And only when they're aligned that way can the door unlock and be open. Your dreams, your mission, your goal is the same way. Results, the actions, the feelings, the thoughts, the belief system, those are the tumblers of the lock in your head that need to be aligned to get what you want.
Wow. Dang, that's powerful. So it's like when we get into alignment, we will get the result every time. We just got to get into alignment.
I don't know that I'll say we'll get the result every time, but it becomes an opportunity. Well, maybe I thought I was in alignment and something wasn't, or maybe the universe just has a better plan that sometimes my plan isn't the plan.
Right.
Right. But understanding that these feelings that we have are information. This is good. Information is always, because it helps us align.
Wow. It's powerful. Powerful, dude. I love this. Dude, Chris, we've covered a lot already. I just want to start bringing it home for our audience. Any other final takeaways, good gold nuggets that you've been seeing pop up that you want to use, want to share with our audience, or anything like that we can just wrap up with, that just take it home, man?
I think just highlighting some of the stuff we've covered is really the best way. It's like, let's let those judgments go and recognize that they're just judgments. They're not truths. They're just my story, and I've been telling them. Recognize that everything about you, and I mean everything, from your bald head to your introverted, dynamic to your whatever it is. I don't care if you think you have chunky thighs. Whatever it is, it's a gift, and it is there for you. Your job is to figure out how it's a gift and use that in service to what you're trying to do. The gratitude journal, seeing meditation, these kinds of things. And, not to get all woo-woo hippie, but man, love yourself. Like, love everything about you, because the more you love you, the more you get to be you, the happier you're going to be, the more stuff you're going to get done.
Yes. Just freed up, space, expansion. I love it. So
I make
Chris,
it sound so simple, right? Here, this is all you have to do, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Chris, how do we stay connected with you, man? And what do you want our audience to do next?
Go to my website and sign up for a newsletter. Here's what's great about it. It's not a marketing piece. It's information. I'm going to send you tools and tricks and tips and all this ninja stuff. ChrisMKing.com. Got to get my middle initial in there, ChrisMKing.com. You can follow me on Instagram at ChrisMikeKing, which is great because I post all kinds of weird, crazy stuff, sort of the behind-the-scenes stuff from my life. You can find me on Facebook and everything. And reach out. Look, call me with questions. Send me an email. I'll do whatever I can to help you out. Because if something I've said has resonated with you today, there's a reason for it. Go with it. Follow the energy. Trust your intuition. And see where it leads you, man.
Damn. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Chris King, you're a freaking powerhouse, man. And I'm excited to see even more transformation coming to the world from you, with you and your gifts and your talents and the tools that you're helping to empower people with, man. Thank you again for your time, and our audience love you. Everyone, go to his website, connect with this man. He is a powerhouse, chrismking.com. Find him on Facebook, Chris M. King. And Chris, dude, have the best day ever, brother.
And I will make it so. And I tell you what, you are number one in my gratitude journal tonight. Thank you.
Yes. Awesome, man. You have the best day ever. We'll see you soon, okay?